We're maintaining this beautiful Silverado. It was coated with Crystal Serum Light, but I want to talk to you guys about something super important in today's video, and it may not be what you think it is. What I want to talk to you guys about is the art of listening. Why? Why am I going to talk about this subject in a detailing video? Because if you're a detailing business, listening is extremely important. And it's just important in daily life anyway. And I'll explain why. But first, let's finish this off. We're gonna pull it inside, we're gonna dry it, we're gonna do a basic interior because this is our maintenance service package on a previously ceramic coated vehicle. So this was ceramic coated over 6 months ago, and it comes in every 6 months for its maintenance service, which is basically a wash. We put a ceramic spray topper, and then we do a basic interior, clean the glass, basically to reset it to looking nice again. Wow, that looks awesome. I was gonna do the spray coating on it, but maybe I still will. Yeah, that just adds a little bit more protection. They were already beating really nicely, but nice. The paint looks fantabulous. And if you're wondering why I use the Vonix Spell, this is a spray on and rinse off spray coating, basically, because I like to use it on the wheels to kind of top them off. We put a coating on the wheels and it's performing well, but I usually at least put this application on the wheels because it's easy, it's fast, and it's just added protection until the next time we see it. And for the topper, I'm going to use Vonix SiO2 Pro. This can be used on a wet or dry surface, great for maintaining ceramic coatings. Even though this is Crystal Serum Light, I can usually use G-Technic Liquid Crystal C2V3, but in this case, I can switch it up if I want and try something else. The only thing I don't like about these bottles is actually I like the bottles, I hate the triggers. I'm going to switch out the trigger. I don't like it at all. So there are three important things when it comes to being a good listener. The first is the actual act of hearing and listening to everything that is spoken or written down. As detailers, we should be so detail-oriented that we are researching everything properly and listening to everything properly. Case in point, I put a post out the other day that actually did really well on Instagram, and it was just a little teaser. I was ceramic coating a white vehicle, and the point of the post was to kind of tease the video that I'm currently editing and to kind of get people thinking, and also to kind of stir things up a little bit. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to see what people would say and do, and I kind of knew already. Now, the majority of people actually liked the video, they watched it, they understood, and they're like, I can't wait to actually watch the full video. There are a few people who obviously did not read or listen to the entire video because I said something very important at the end. Now, in the video, I talk about ceramic coating a vehicle without polishing it. Now, that in itself is going to stir up a bunch of people because there are quite a few detailers out there that are just simply dogmatic about their services and about their feelings towards polishing a vehicle before applying a ceramic coating. Some think that you have to do a full paint correction every single time. In the video, I actually say at the end that I explain the reasons why you don't need to polish a vehicle before applying a ceramic coating, but also why you should polish a vehicle before you ceramic coat it. So two things, almost on opposite ends of the spectrum. However, the wording is very, very deliberate, and I was very careful about how I said it. Do you need to polish a vehicle before applying a ceramic coating? No. The answer is most definitely you do not need to polish. But should you polish a vehicle before applying a ceramic coating? And I explain in the video why I'm not polishing that specific vehicle for that specific customer, but also the reasons why I believe that polishing really is the best way to prep a vehicle for a ceramic coating. So I talk about both ends of the spectrum. But some people just simply commented that I was lazy and skipping steps and so on and so forth. So obviously they didn't listen to the entire video. They didn't watch the entire thing all the way to the end. Now, unfortunately, this is what current social media has done. Trying to get information across in 30 to 60 seconds is not enough to fully explain things. So you get a lot of stupid comments on there because people's attention spans are shorter, and that means, unfortunately, they are not doing their due diligence in listening, researching, and understanding things. They are simply responding like a knee-jerk reaction. That spawns a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions and, frankly, just a lot of stupidity. As a detailer, you should learn how to listen and watch something completely to the end to be able to, which is the second point, comprehend. So you need good comprehension. Some people can read well, but they may not be able to comprehend what they're reading. And what's the point of reading something if you can't comprehend it? Basically, that means you can't understand it. You can be the best reader in the world and sound really, really good at reading the words on the page or reading words on a video, or even maybe listening to words. But comprehension is a whole other thing. That really takes critical thinking. That actually means you have to understand what is being said and be able to comprehend it, to be able to understand it. That's so important. If you don't have that, you're gonna miss out on a lot because of YouTube and social media also. And when you just read things in text, you don't get the full tone of what the person is saying. Things can be misunderstood or mistaken as one thing when it's really not. That's very, very important. Comprehending what you're reading or listening to. The act of actually reading and watching the entire piece of content, comprehension, and the third is following through. Now, you don't always have to follow through, and that just means either leaving a comment or asking a question or actually doing what was said or demonstrated in the video. But if you're going to leave a comment or if you're going to try to correct or ask a question, you gotta make sure that you watched and listened to everything. Unfortunately, with YouTube, they are focusing on shorts, trying to compete with TikTok or whatever. It's a bad decision. Because again, they are lessening the attention span of people. A lot of people are just now focusing on those just for simple entertainment. Still, some people are trying to teach through those shorts, and it's just not working. You can't teach through a short, at least not anything that is substantial. What they're trying to do is push you or pull you to the YouTube channel for longer content, for more explanation, for more information. I encourage you to do that. That's what you should be doing. You should be watching videos all the way through because there's going to be vital bits of information in those videos that you may want, you may miss, in fact, if you don't watch all the way through. I have a lot of people asking me questions that I have covered in literally hundreds of videos. Hundreds. I have over 1,000 videos on our channel, and a lot of them have very low views for whatever reason. But the information within those videos is so vital, it's so important, and I know it is because people keep asking me the same questions every single time. It was covered in the video. It might be at the end of the video. So what should you do? You should watch the entire video. Don't worry about it being long. If it's a 45-minute video to an hour video, if you have the time, watch it all the way through, every single second of it. If you don't have the time, there's this cool thing that YouTube has. You just pause and then you can come back to it later. It's awesome. It's like a feature that's been on there since the beginning of YouTube. If you are of my generation, you understand that if you don't have time to watch something like it's on videotape or DVD, you pause it and then you can continue it later. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So don't worry about it being a long video. You should want to watch longer videos because they are full of information. And you can also do another thing that's really cool, fast forward through them. Yeah, you can actually skip 10 to 15 seconds ahead to the points that you want. But if you do that again, even 10 to 15 seconds, you could miss a vital bit of information. So if you have time, just watch the video. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Don't worry about it being long. If you know you have a short attention span, well, that's a good thing that you know that. Make an action plan. Figure out how long you have, 10, 15 minutes. Pause the video, come back to it later. In fact, it's probably best to do that because you're going to be thinking about it and maybe other questions are going to pop up into your head, and then you can finish the video and then realize that those questions were probably answered towards the end of the video. So the point of all of this is I'm going to be making longer videos, and I don't care what YouTube says. I don't care what anyone else says. Going back to the way that I used to do it because I was answering so many questions that people have. I might even take my older videos, rehash them, and do voiceovers and show people what they missed. It's kind of unfortunate, but I'm going to have to do that. So if you have questions, if you want to learn about detailing, you need to subscribe to our channel and watch and listen to every single video all the way through. There's so much information there. Why wouldn't you want to do that? To be able to get as much information as possible. In fact, I still do that. For example, just recently, within the past couple of months, I rewatched a bunch of older videos from Jim White from White Details and AM Details, Alan Medcraft. And I watched some of their earlier videos, and there were some things that I didn't remember. I actually maybe didn't miss at that particular point, but I just kind of forgot about. So I rewatched some of those videos, and I was able to understand a little bit more, get a few more little tips here and there, or at least just to reassure myself that, yeah, I was doing this correctly. That's where I got this tip or this point from, was from those guys. That's what I encourage you to do. If you're on YouTube just to find entertainment, this is not your channel. This is an educational channel. This is to provide information, to showcase what we're doing on vehicles, what products, what tools, what methods, what techniques to use for a real automotive detailing business. We're not trendy, we're not viral, and we're not dogmatic detailers. We're not sticking to these rigid elitist detailer rules, like having to do a paint correction every single time you apply a ceramic coating. That type of stuff is actually not healthy for the detailing community at all. Because what they're telling you is you have to follow their rules every single time, no matter what. What that does is it boxes you in, and it doesn't allow you to think critically. It doesn't allow you to think for yourself and to adapt to different circumstances, to different situations. I explain in that video where we ceramic coated that vehicle without polishing why I didn't polish the vehicle. And it's a specific reason, and I'm providing a service for a particular customer that is a good customer of mine, in fact, that's a returning customer. And we had a discussion. I ran a little special for my customers, and they understand the pros and cons of not polishing a vehicle before applying a ceramic coating. So instead of just not doing something and not explaining why, you have to give the reasons. And I give all the reasons every single time. I don't do things arbitrarily, and I don't do things just because I'm following somebody else's rules. I've listened to all of the arguments. I've listened to all of the different reasons why someone should or shouldn't do anything when it comes to detailing. Why someone should do the wheels first every single time. Why they should use an iron remover on the vehicle every single time. I've heard it all. And what I have done is I have tried those things, and then I learned what works and what doesn't. What is fake information and just information that's just put out there to appease people or to sell product. And I have just squashed all of that, and I've now begun to understand why I am doing something. I've learned to adapt. I've learned to do things that are needed and to not do things that are unneeded. That's logical. It just makes sense. And here's an example. You have a brand new vehicle that comes in. It's silver or pearl white. There's absolutely no swirls in it. You can't find a single swirl with all of your lights that you have. You can't see any swirls at all. But because you want to follow the rules, you go through all of the steps that you see other detailers forcing you to do on YouTube. Whether you want to use a clay bar, an iron mover, and all that for the mechanical and chemical deconning, you do all of that. You don't even see a reaction, but you used all of the chemicals that you wanted, and then you bring it in and you do a 2 to 3 stage correction on it. Full compounding, polishing, you spend a couple hours on it, maybe even most of the day. And then you do your multiple applications of ceramic coating, 2 to 3 layers of a coating, whatever coating it is. Because some people think you have to do 2 applications of any type of coating. You just did all of that to a vehicle that did not need it. But you had to follow all the rules because you felt impelled to, because you saw other detailers doing it. And if you didn't do it, you would either feel bad, or you'd feel that you're cheating the customer, or if you were recording it, you would feel that others would pick on you or say, you skip this or you skip that, you're lazy, you're not doing a good job, that's bad for business. What do you think? Do you think that's true? Here's what I think. You just did chemo to a patient that doesn't have cancer. Yeah, let me explain. So you go to the doctor, and the doctor says, you're perfectly healthy, but let's just go through a couple of rounds of chemo just to be careful, just to be on the safe side, because you may have cancer or you may not. I don't know. Maybe my tests are inconclusive. Does that make sense? Would you go for that? Would you go back to that doctor and be like, yeah, I guess that sounds good. Maybe it'll just kill whatever cancer is there. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Or if the doctor says, well, I gotta cut you and go inside and kind of do some invasive surgery because I just have an idea that there might be something wrong in you. I don't see it on any other tests that I did, but just to be sure, let's do that. Come on, that would be foolish. That would not make any sense at all. Think of detailing like that. Why are you going to cut or do any other type of extensive work onto a vehicle that simply does not need it, just to appease your ego or to not feel bad like you're cheating the customer because you're not going through all the steps that you stated in your detailing services? It's sad that I have to talk about this and explain this, because really this is for new detailers to kind of protect them and to kind of help them to understand and to cut through all of the garbage out there. It has to be said, because to this day I still have people commenting on my videos where I clearly explain everything and they still don't get it, which shows that they are not good listeners. They can't listen properly and they can't comprehend it. They don't understand what I'm saying or why I'm saying it, and they don't know how to match up what I'm saying with what I'm doing. So don't do that. Guys, be good listeners. Watch videos all the way through. Stop doing what recommended YouTube video people tell you to do and TikTok and all of that. Lengthen your attention span, because it's going to help you to learn better. It's going to help you to retain knowledge better. Watch, listen, and learn. I mean, these are basic things that we as humans should be doing. That's what benefits humanity. But unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing in society today. In every single type of service-based business or whatever type of business that is out there, there are people who get it and there are people who don't. Don't be the latter. I know it's a lot of information, and if you are watching this all the way to the end, that means that you're watching and listening. And it'll be an interesting thing to see the analytics on this video and to see how many people dropped off at a certain point. Those are the ones who don't care and they don't want to learn anymore. They just want to be entertained and they're bored with information, with knowledge. They just want someone to tell them what to do and they just want to follow the rules. There are certain rules in general that need to be followed for multiple reasons. But when it comes to detailing, don't box yourself in with rules. You will be a good detailer and a good person in general if you just be a better listener.